I got a kooky story for you. The other night, I was working behind the counter, and a feller come in, dressed up like a woman, and got some Mike's Hard Lemonade, and brought it up to the counter. Now, I figured he was maybe close to 30. You never can tell. But I said, hey, partner, you got some ID? And he gave me kind of a dirty look. But he took his ID out of his purse and handed it to me. And I was like, all right. I was like, Keith? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, so how long you been a crossdresser, partner? And he's like, I'm not a crossdresser. And I was like, is there a costume party or something? And he's like, no. And I was like, help me out here, Keith. How come you're dressed up like a woman? And Keith said, I am a woman. I was like, come on, bro. Your mustache is better than mine. Now, I said, don't get your panties in a wad. What's going on here? And he's like, I'm sick of people like you. And I was like, what did I do? All I'm doing is selling you some Mike's Lemonade and asking you how long you've been a crossdresser. And he's like, I'm not a crossdresser. I'm a woman. And I was like, now, Keith, you're gonna have to help me out a little bit here, bro. And he's like, stop calling me bro. And I was like, yes, sir. At this point, I responded by saying, Keith, is there any chance that you may have on your person an MRI, an ultrasound, a CAT scan, or even an X-ray that shows me what's inside of you? He come unglued. He said, what does that have to do with anything? I said, Keith, if you're not sporting ovaries and fallopian tubes and a uterus, you're not a woman. That's what makes a woman a woman. He said, I don't have any of that crap in me, and I don't need any of that crap. Keith, what you're referring to as crap is essential for, those are essential organs for a woman to have. Now, does your gynecologist, what does he think about this? And Keith's like, I got a lawsuit against my gynecologist because he won't treat me. The local gynecologist because he won't treat me. I said, Keith, this gynecologist racked up a tremendous amount of student loan debt and sacrificed many years of his life to learn about female anatomy. He didn't learn about Franks and beans. So for you to sit around trying on high heels and pantyhose expecting him to sacrifice more years of his life to learn about penises and testicles just so he can accommodate you, that's unfair. I said, Keith, let's change the subject for a second. What do you think of my head of luxurious blonde hair? And Keith said, you ain't nothing but a bald bigot. I said, beg your pardon? He said, you heard me. You ain't nothing but a bald bigot. You ain't got no hair. You're bald. I said, Keith, I have a head of luxurious long blonde hair. He said, you done lost your mind. Keith, help a brother out. You don't have ovaries and fallopian tubes and a uterus, and yet you want me to think that you're a woman. That doesn't make any more sense than me being bald and telling you that I have a luxurious head of hair. He grabbed his blouse and ripped it open, and he said, does that look like a man? And I was like, this has got to be the weirdest coincidence in the world. I just installed a fiberglass tub surround, and I bought two tubes of silicone caulk just like that from a caulking gun. But the nipples were a little different. So he come across the counter. He come at me. He said, I've had just about enough of you. I said, Keith, don't get your panties in a wad. Settle down, bro. He's like, stop calling me bro. I said, yes, sir. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in women's equal rights? He said, 100%. I said, well, good. Because I'm about ready to give you a couple rights. And these rights would be equal to the rights that I would give any feller that was getting in my face like you are. You dig? You better just back up there, partner. Now, it's $7.87 for the Mike's Hard Lemonade. Put your little tubes of caulk away, and let's get this transaction taken care of.